I'm going to address briefly the DEI hire, or one of the DEI hires that provoked this situation in Los Angeles. Terrence K. Williams, LA Mayor Karen Bass, is now claiming people don't like her and want her to resign because she's a black woman. Of course, she has to take the race card. She has to put out the race card because that's the only thing that they got. That's the only reason why they got hired in the first place. LA Mayor Karen Bass smiles as she talks about the loss of LA residents have suffered in the LA wildfires, will have destroyed 37,000 acres, 12,000 structures, and left at least 16 dead. This is just something, and you can see in her face, why are you speaking like this? Like it's your birthday.
Angelinos, we're still going through it. And to any of you and all of you that have experienced a loss, the grief, the anger, the just utter
What the fuck are you smiling? Why are you putting that smile on your face? Why? How is this? How is this people real? I mean, you know how this works. I make sure to add the videos to my show and not watch them until I react to them live. Like right now, I didn't expect her to actually be so blatantly psychopathic. Like, oh yeah, that's you have a grief and loss. Oh, I've seen the devastation.
I've seen the devastation.
I've seen the devastation. Look at her face. I've seen the devastation. And you're what? You're delighted? It's why? It's because there were white people lost their homes? It's because of that? No, I understand that. I think that she's, well, her pronouns are she, her, so I guess that she's a woman. I am not sure. You know, in California, you cannot be sure about anything. Anything at all. Anything. I've seen the devastation, and so what?
It is unbelievable the amount of loss that people have experienced. But we have to get through this crisis.
Yeah, we have to fire your ass. That is the first thing. That is the first thing.
And I know that we will. I was at the Sylmar command post today, and I saw the work of our first responders and how they've been able.
Were they, by any chance, diverse? Your first responders? Were they wearing lipstick or mascara? Just a question.
Able to defeat the fires in certain areas. We know we still have.
Certain areas means like 5% of areas. What's going on? This has been contained, barely has been contained in 6 or 7% in these fires, because the wind. Yeah, I was wrong the other day. It's not 40 or 60 miles per hour. We're talking about 100 miles per hour winds. This is brutal. This is brutal.
Much more to go, and we know the winds are going to kick up again. But we got to stick together. We got to stand strong. And then we have to rebuild our city. We're the nation's second largest city, one of the greatest cities in the world.
I think not anymore.
And we stay together, and we...
Yeah, exactly as Veronica says. Did they look like you? Do those first responders like look like you when you look at yourself in the mirror? Those first responders look like you, and they were diverse as the people that they were helping. Very good, pointed that out, Veronica.
We build an amazing city. So thank you, Angelino.
Oh yeah, I was wrong. Thank you, Mr. Meaner. It was not 100 miles per hour. It was 99, just 99 miles per hour. Sorry, I'm spreading misinformation. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me that I was so wrong about that.
And prayers are out to all of you that are going through unbelievable loss and pain today.
Yeah, unbelievable loss and pain. Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling? No, this is This is so unacceptable. Or keep smiling. And I think that only the stupid would vote for Democrats, but I wouldn't hold my breath, because there are people defending her and defending Gavin Newsom and blaming Trump. Blaming Trump.
We will get through this. Thank you.
Yeah, but at what cost? And also we have this. Watch LA Mayor Bass addresses 17 million budget cut from fire department amid deadly fires.
Can you address the criticism now over the budget issue and the slashing, $17 million
You know,
slashing
I
of
think
the
if
budget?
you go back and look at the reductions that were made, there were no reductions that were made that would have impacted.
We had 17 million reductions, but those reductions wouldn't have impacted whatever happened. This was going to happen either way. You know, I'm not going to mention those crimes, but we have some examples with the grooming gangs these days. I saw some users or abusers on X who were saying, oh, those girls were going to be, redacted anyway. So by anybody. So yes, it's this is worthy of getting punched in the face, and I'm not going to elaborate on that because it absolutely is. This is worthy of getting punched in the face repeatedly until some kind of sanity gets into these people's brains. Sincerely, there's no other way to put this. Let's say that I'm speaking metaphorically, and these punches are, words. Maybe we can reach to them with ideas. We can talk this sanity into them, this common sense into them. Maybe they can watch my show and understand how deranged they are. But I am not holding my breath still for this efforts.
Situation that we were dealing with over the last couple of days. And
More
then there was a
firefighters on the
little
front
bit,
line would have
there
not
was a
helped.
little bit of confusion.
It's just you are confused. That is the best part of gaslighting. You are confused. You are getting things wrong. You are not understanding the situation. You're not understanding where the fires came from. This is arson. Some of them were arson. We don't know how many of them are actual arson, but maybe if you punish criminals, if you hang those arsonists in main streets for everybody to see, or punish them in the way that you deem appropriately, maybe if you knew how many criminals were in your state, in your city, and did something about it and punish them, and if they are not American citizens, kick them out of the effing country, then maybe, just maybe, these kind of things would not happen. Maybe you could prevent. Maybe there would be no problem if there are no arsonists, because nobody wants to risk being hanged by the balls at the town square. Then maybe we can pass the fact that some of those reservoirs didn't have any water. Systemic, modern problems require modern solutions. But the punishing people who make criminal acts is not modern. That is quite ancient, in fact. That is quite ancient. That is the thing that is missing, not only in California, but in so many cities and states of the United States of America and the world at large.
Allocated to be distributed.
The Western world. Because, I don't know, for example, in the Middle East, they know how to punish people. Say what you want about Sharia law, but Sharia law absolutely works.
Later on, which was actually going to support salaries and other parts of the fire department.
No, I'm not going to be listening to you. I'm not going to be listening to you, especially because of this. The problem of DEI in firefighting isn't limited to LA and should be called out everywhere before disaster strikes. And you remember that I had a very strong rant the other day that is becoming viral on YouTube, by the way, about why women cannot be firefighters, as in women cannot be firefighters. Make sure that you watch that video. In Connecticut, a bill was proposed to create a more diverse, i.e. more female class of firefighters by lowering physical standards for women. lowering physical standards for women. Specifically, women would no longer be required to pass 50-pound simulated best test component of the candidate physical ability test that men are required to pass. Keep in mind that the basic gear firefighters are expected to wear when fighting fires is at least 59 pounds. The last update on the bill's status was that it had been referred to the state legislature's Committee on Public Safety for review. However, there's no information indicating whether it passed or what its current status is. So we have this statement of purpose to allow for a more diverse class of candidates for firefighter positions, and additional female candidates would qualify for such positions based on revised physical standards that offer an alternative to the 50-pound simulated best test component. Oh my God. Yeah, you have the basic gear in here. You have the basic gear in here. And I know, and my stance is that it's women should not be doing, even if a woman, if you have a woman, I mentioned Gina Carano, even if you have Gina Carano, if Gina Carano could do this, she could pass all the physical stuff that the man can do. There are women can absolutely can do that. Women shouldn't be there because the natural instinct of a man, especially in squads like this, like firefighters or policemen or the military, is to protect those who are, well, let's say that we are driven to protect women. That's something, if you have an ounce of, masculine honor, it is a natural impulse. So if you have a squad of all men, they can be focused on the work itself. If you have one woman in there, a single lady in there, even if she can if she can do everything that the men can do, men can allocate 5% of their focus on, where is Gina? Where is Gina right now? It's natural, something that we do and we cannot, and that can affect outcome. If you affect an outcome by just 1 or 2%, just by 1 or 2% can be the difference between being successful and tragedy. So I don't make the rules. That is like that. That is biology. That is how psychology works. Again, you are more than welcome to speak about that. Express your opinion in the comments. So let me see your live chat.